All right. Good morning, everybody. I see all your smiling faces as you're starting to pop in, and we are so glad that you are here with us today. If you can just introduce yourself in the Q&A, put your name and your business, maybe even where you're located. That would be great. Would love to see where everybody's from. My name is Melissa Roswell, and this is Allie Everhard, and we are the co-founders of the Women's Council of Entrepreneurs. I know that's a mouthful. We typically go by WCE because it turns out that Women's Council of Entrepreneurs is just too hard to say over and over. So we are the ones that are putting on this webinar. And so we are glad that you are here today. We want to share a little bit about what we do, and hopefully you can get a little more plugged in with WCE. We're going to be talking about mindset today. Let's see if I can get this slide to change. Maybe. Well, let's see. What was? Maybe.
Oh, we were probably on the last slide.
Oh.
Sorry, technical difficulties like always.
All right, we've got you all in. We're going to be talking about mindset matters and also 5 mindset tips for small business owners. But let me tell you a little bit about WCE first. So WCE is a women's networking and support group. Our goal is so that you don't feel alone as an entrepreneur. We know that being an entrepreneur can be very lonely. It can be very exciting, but it can also have its ups and downs. And so we want to support each other as we're going through this journey together. And that's really what we do. We have a lot of resources for women, such as educational workshops like this. I don't know why it keeps changing. We have networking and mastermind events. We have a website, shopasmallbusiness.com, where you can find businesses that you want to support that are women entrepreneurs. It's a great way to connect with other small businesses and use their services, especially business-to-business things like virtual assistants, CPAs, things like that. But there's also like air conditioning companies and boutiques and other, medical and esthetician type services to keep you beautiful. So definitely check that out when you have a chance. I also encourage you to join our Facebook group if you have not yet. And it is We Are WCE. That's our group name. And if you join that, you can also share about your business Fridays. You don't have to be a member to be able to share on Fridays or anything like that. The other thing we offer is if you're in the Houston area, we offer in-person coffee and connections. And it's a great way to connect with other women entrepreneurs, maybe share your highs and your lows. We also mastermind on a topic of the month. And it's just a really good way to meet other women who are doing the same thing you're doing, who understand what you're going through, and to make those business connections that help, with referrals and other things like that. So check those out if you're in Houston. We have membership options, but you never have to be a member to attend. You can always attend it on a guest pass. And if you're not in Houston, we are working on some online chapters so we can do virtual events coming in the fall. So now I know y'all don't want to sit here and hear me talk all the time. So I'm going to turn it over to Debra King, who we are excited to have with us today. She is the owner of Debra King Consulting, and her goal, her passion is helping women, helping people in general create the personal and professional lives that they want. And we were just talking before everyone got on about mindset and how impactful that is in just your personal life, but also your professional life. And so Debra is going to share with us 5 tips that can help us to just keep that positive mindset as we're going through our business and, you know, striving for all of our goals. So, Debra, thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me, Melissa and Ollie. And hi to everyone. Thank you so much for taking time out of your, I know, busy schedules to just come and spend some time in fellowship with one another. This is truly going to be a reminder. I don't think that there's anything that's groundbreaking that I'm going to share, but as women, I find that we often need to be reminded of the things that we already know so that we can continue to do them. So the first of the tips that I want to share on mindset is owning your confidence, owning your value. You know, regularly remind yourself of your skills, your experiences, your accomplishments, and then speaking with authority, trusting your experience. And here's one, don't downplay your accomplishments. We as women sometimes downplay what we do and how we do it. We don't own our greatness. It's okay to own our greatness. So also, I would ask you to encourage others to do the same. When someone downplays their accomplishment, I oftentimes tell them, you know, that is a big deal. It's okay to own it. And then they acquiesce and it's like, yeah, I understand. The next one is surround yourself with a support group of people who want to help you succeed. And it's so important to ensure that your circle is the right circle. Do you have that personal board of directors? And you can have multiple boards of directors. Next month, I'm trekking in Iceland, 5 days from July 20th to the 25th. I reconvened my health board of directors, made up of my CrossFit coach, my massage therapist, as well as my flexologist. I'm 63, and so the bones are getting a little old. But I need that help to get me focused so that I'm ready to trek. From a business standpoint, I have a board of directors when I'm looking for long-term strategic activities who can help me think long-term, because I have a short mindset time frame when I'm thinking of things. I can think about things from a year out, but I can't think about things 5 years, 20 years. So I have different boards of directors who help me do different things. So do you have your personal board of directors? Whose board are you on? Because it also is about giving as well as receiving. So whose board are you on? The next is how we think about setbacks, how we think about failure. Instead of internalizing failure, see it as feedback. See it as, what is this telling me? What do I need to focus in on? You know, growth often comes disguised as a failure or resistance. And I think about, you know, again, I said I'm 63, I'll be 64 in October. I made a commitment to myself recently that I am not going to have to get in shape again, because I have these habits of getting in shape, falling off, getting in shape, falling off. And as I've learned, it gets harder and harder as I get older. And I think about, from a business standpoint, what can I do to learn from the things that are mistakes and then grow from it? And then how can I help others see in that same manner? When they see that they're quote unquote failing at something, how can I help them see it as feedback that then contributes to future innovation? What is their silver lining? Now, ladies, we tend to do multiple things for multiple people, and we tend to leave ourselves for last. It just happens. Even if you are in business, you are, running your home, all of the things we tend to do for others. Protecting your mental space is something that I would love for you to do intentionally for yourself. Be mindful of what you put into your mind. Be mindful of what you are consuming on a regular basis. Guard it like it's one of your business assets, because your mind is your asset. And ladies, rest is a strategy. Rest is important. Rest of your body, rest of your mind, giving your body what it needs. That quiet time is the time that we can take to think, to dream, to discover, to recover. Because we as women don't do that very well. We tend to burn the candle at both ends. But rest is important. I actually make time to rest. I block time in my calendar so that I can go to bed consistently. When I need to think about things that are more long-term from a business standpoint, I carve out time on my calendar. And I don't allow people to break into that time. So rest truly is a strategy to help us move forward. So there's something that I do with my coaching clients to remind them, and I wish I could stand up to show you it because it's a physical, but I start with the head. As you think, and then I go over my heart. So you feel. As you feel, so you do. As you do, so you have. So what you think, you feel. What you feel, you do. What you do, you have. Think, feel, do, have. And here's the thing about this. You can think positive things, or you can think not so positive things. The positive will help you feel positive, will help you do positive, will help you have positive. Unfortunately, the negative will have you thinking negative, feeling negative, doing negative, having negative. We truly do have the choice to think, feel, do, or have. The next is, and the last, is practicing gratitude. Gratitude fuels your joy, while the vision that you have fuels the momentum for yourself as well as your business. The conversations that we all have in our brain is the most important conversation that you will ever have, because it helps you to know yourself and it helps you to understand your true abilities, how your brain is wired. So if you don't know yourself and you don't know your true abilities, it makes it difficult for you to operate on a daily basis, and it makes it difficult for you to move forward from a business standpoint. And then I would actually encourage you to speak gratitude and encouragement into the lives of others, and doing it daily. I will see a woman and something as simple as, you know what, they really look nice today. I tell them, because historically I would think it, but I wouldn't say it. If they've done something great in a presentation or at work, I make a point of sending a note or telling them. So encouragement to me is walking alongside of someone and not just telling them the positive things, it's also giving them the constructive feedback so that they can be better. So that's speaking gratitude as well as encouragement into the lives of others. And when you get in the habit of doing that on a daily basis, people seek you out even more so because you're coming across as authentic and real. And people tend to like to be around people who are authentic and real. And then finally, I just want to share with you this. Part of my consulting firm, I am a Highlands Ability Battery consultant. I used this tool back in 1996 to understand my brain and how my brain was wired, because I would look at others and I would try to do the things that others would do. And I wasn't leaning into my own skill set. And so taking the Highlands Ability Battery gave me clarity on my natural strengths and abilities and how I'm wired. Like, I'm a woman who is dyslexic, and I have issues transposing numbers and letters and different things like that. I have a short time frame orientation, so I can do things in the short term, but not in the long term. But it gave me clarity, and it revealed how I problem solve, how I communicate, how I learn, and how I lead. And so knowing this about yourself and your innate strengths allows you to lean into what energizes you so that you can show up in the person that you are. And it also identifies who you need to be surrounded with who has other skills. Like, I don't necessarily have financial skills, but I know that I can surround myself with others who have those financial skills, because I know that I'm a superb coach, mentor, counselor. But I know who else I need to surround myself so that I can actually produce excellence. So if you are thinking about, what are my personal strengths? What are my personal abilities? How can I excel at the next level? I'd love to be able to talk with you about that and taking the Highlands Ability Battery so that you can know more about yourself. I do it with teenagers, 20-somethings, 30-somethings, 40-somethings, 50-somethings, 60-somethings, on and on. But it is a wonderful tool to help you to learn about yourself and your natural God-given abilities. So thank you, Melissa and Allie, for an opportunity to share this morning. Thank you, ladies, for listening. If there's anything that you need or I can help, please feel free to reach out. And I'd also entertain any questions that you might have.
Yes, if anybody has any questions, please drop them in the chat. A lot of this resonated with me. I know that for sure. I literally just was talking to Melissa earlier. My husband wanted to talk about some, we own a business together, and he wanted to map out some things this morning. He's like, why don't we do it while you're eating breakfast? And I was like, no, like I need my breakfast time for me. You know, like I want to like sit and think. And it was like one of the first times I've ever said no.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, oh, okay. Like, but it felt good though too, because I was able to enjoy my breakfast before, you know, the webinar today and before some meetings that we have. And I said, we can do that later when we all get back.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I often say to my lady clients, no is a complete sentence.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It does not require an explanation, because we as women tend to want to explain the why behind.
Yes.
But no truly is a complete sentence. And you can say it with grace and with mercy and with kindness.
Yes, exactly. I'm not seeing any questions.
Lots of praise. I was going to say,
praise,
people
yeah.
really, I think this does resonate. I think the one thing that resonated with me was the compliments to people, because I'll see someone with an amazing dress or something, and I'll just kind of be like, that's cute. But trying to remember to tell her, because who doesn't want to hear like, oh, you like my dress, or, you know, you look nice today, or that you did a great presentation. That's, I think that's a good reminder too, that we assume people do their job and think, okay, well, that they're good at it. They know they're good at it, but we all love to hear like, oh, you did so good.
Yeah, I was recently in a meeting with a young man, and he did some phenomenal thinking on a project. And I just said to him, Conrad, I just love the way your brain works. That was phenomenal. And it just stopped him in his tracks because I don't think people tell him that very often. And so he actually reaches out to me even more because we can collaborate, and he then shares some strategic stuff. And then I'm able to say, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And it builds that opportunity to collaborate because people really want to be seen. And they want to know that they are seen. And then there's a loyalty that comes with it after they know that you actually do see them. One of those secrets from a business standpoint, my business is truly word of mouth because I get to know my clients. And then one mother will tell another mother, one student will tell another student, you've got to go talk to Miss Deb. I get folks' children calling me and talking with me about things because I really listen to what they're saying. And I'm not trying to just give them, hey, this is what you need to do. Everyone is unique and every situation is unique. And people love being seen and heard.
Yes,
I agree.
Someone in the comments said, I think it is difficult to receive praise, although I sometimes need it. And I think that's another thing women struggle with is, or anybody really, I mean, is hearing that and not going, oh, no, it wasn't anything, or trying to, like you said, downplaying your accomplishments. Like, we just want to be humble and like, no, because you don't want to seem braggy and I get real awkward when somebody compliments me, and I'm like the Midwesterner, like, oh, I like your pants. Oh, $5 on sale. You know, like, so.
And so one of the tips that you can use when someone does that, just say, you know what, thank you. And then bite your tongue and drink blood. Sometimes I do that. I bite my tongue and drink blood for the things that I should not say, because sometimes my inside of my head voice comes out of my mouth and I'm like, oh, I really said that.
Yes.
But when it came to actually accepting compliments, Melissa and Allie, one of the things that I had to do myself was just to say, oh, thank you, and then stop. Because I wanted to say, well, you know, I got it at Chico's, or, you know, it was on sale, or, you know, this old thing.
Yes.
Or, oh, I used that from another space. People don't need to know that, especially when it applies to them.
Yeah.
You remember, it's giving them a gift. When you say thank you, that's giving them a gift that they actually acknowledge something about you.
Yes.
And so when you downplay it, you're downplaying the compliment. You're downplaying the praise that someone is giving you. And
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, I like looking at it that way, because then it's like acknowledging them versus me. It's like, oh, you saw that, so that's good for you.
Remember, everyone is having a conversation in their head. Should I say this? Should I not? They're getting up the courage to say what they're going to say. And when you downplay it, it's like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't speak up.
Yeah, I never looked at it that way.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. I love that. Oh, well, there has been so many good compliments. And thank you. I think even just this sort of like reassures us all that it's okay to take the space, to take the compliments, reminding us that we are amazing women doing it all. And, you know,
and we need each other.
And we need each other to remind each other sometimes too.
And I love women supporting women because that is so powerful.
Yes.
So supporting each other from a business, even from a business standpoint, I used Allison to help me with my website. I used the bees to help me when I moved my house. And had I not joined this organization, I wouldn't, met those two women who run those two businesses. And I prefer to spend my money with women.
Oh, yeah.
If given the choice. But I had made two friends and two women that have helped me in major life activities that I would not have been able to do on my own.
Oh, that's awesome to hear.
Well, we can't thank you enough for for sharing with us and joining with us. And I believe you're going to be on again in December, right? The plan is, so everybody, I know it seems far away, but somehow it's already June. So
Right around the corner.
feels like it's going to be right around the corner. So definitely join us in December, and we'll be back. We're taking a break in July, and we'll be back in the fall. So thank you again, Debra, for everything. And please reach out to her. I'm definitely going to look up this. This is very interesting, because when you were describing yourself, I'm like, oh, that sounds like me. So however, to get yourself more productive and you know, be able to do it on your terms is awesome. All right. Well, we're going to let everyone go. We don't want to keep everybody. Thank you again, and we will see you soon.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks,
Have a
everybody.
great day.
Y'all too.